10 greatest natural wonders of the world. Zhangjiajie. Zhangjiajie is located in central China, northwest Hunan province, which is over 620 miles from both Shanghai and Beijing. It is famous for its precarious peaks, limpid streams, dense forests, and large karst caves rising from the subtropical and temperature forests. Zhangjiajie has a concentrated of quartzite sandstone formations found nowhere else in the world. Some 243 peaks and more than 300 quartzite sandstone pillars and spires dominate the scenery in this area called Wulingyuan. The scenic area consists of 4 national parks, which are the Zhangjiajie National Forest Park, Shuangxi Valley Natural Reserve, Tianzi Mountain Nature Reserve, and the recently added Zhangjiajie Scenic Area. Fun fact, Zhangjiajie is home to the world's longest glass bridge. If the views alone aren't enough to wow you, try taking them in from the world's longest and highest glass bridge over the canyons below. At 300 meters, which is 1,000 feet high, this attraction is definitely not for the faint of heart. The bridge officially opened in August 2016 and has welcomed thousands of brave visitors in its first month. This modern feature of engineering offers picturesque views of the canyon below and even offers opportunities for bungee jumping. If you want a closer look at the ground below, it takes only 2 minutes to reach the mountaintop. It's so popular, there's always a long line. Have you seen the northern lights? They dance high above our heads when the sky is dark and draw many thousands of tourists to Norway. Some people are overwhelmed, others leave with a lifelong memory. Much depends on the strength of the display you see. The northern lights are also known as the Aurora Borealis, meaning light of dawn. It's said the term was first coined by Galileo in 1623 and is derived from Aurora, the goddess of the dawn, and Boreas, the northern wind personified. The northern lights and their counterpart in the southern hemisphere appears when highly charged solar wind particles flowing from the sun collide with air molecules in the Earth's atmosphere, transferring their energy into light. This occurs around the polar regions, where those magnetic fields converge. These magnetic fields create auroral ovals around the top and bottom of our planet, which move and distort as the Earth rotates and solar flare activity increases. They usually occur between 60 and 75 degrees of latitude, which covers northern parts of Canada, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Alaska, and Russia, as well as all of Iceland. Interestingly, the northern and southern lights, or aurora australis, occur simultaneously, but the inverse seasons mean they generally aren't visible at the same time. The best times of the year to see the aurora borealis are potentially visible under dark skies from late August to mid-April, preferably under a clear, cloudless sky. While they occur year-round, they are weaker than sunlight, and therefore sightings aren't possible from May to July and for most of August. Spring and autumn generally provide more stable weather conditions and milder temperatures. Plus, there is greater aurora activity around the equinoxes. November through February offer the darkest skies and longer evenings for maximum sky gazing. The strongest lights tend to appear between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. Through the best sightings often occur between 11 p.m. and midnight. Between 4 a.m. and 5 p.m., there's generally too much daylight to see the aurora. Exceptions are the darkest months of the year in higher latitudes, such Svalbard, which it is dark 24/7 from mid-November to end of January. Number 8, the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is one of the 7 wonders of the natural world, and pulling away from it and viewing it from a greater distance, you can understand why. It is larger than the Great Wall of China and the only living thing on Earth visible visible from space. A visitor to the Great Barrier Reef can enjoy many experiences, including snorkeling, scuba diving, aircraft or helicopter tours, bear boats, self-sail, glass-bottomed boat viewing, semi-submersibles, and educational trips, cruise ship tours, whale watching, and swimming with dolphins. Fun fact, corals are alive. So what is a coral, you ask? Corals are formed by tiny creatures called polyps that have a sac-like body with emerging tentacles. Corals gain their rock-like structure from the polyps as they use calcium and carbonate ions from the seawater to create a hard outer skeleton to protect their soft bodies. These polyps survive due to their relationship with the algae that lived alongside them. The algae absorb light from the sun and subsequently feed the coral. The algae also give the corals their bright colors. Corals are, in fact, nocturnal, and it is under the cover of darkness that the polyps emerge from their outer casings to catch small creatures that pass by. Fun fact, prehistoric creatures still live there. As already mentioned, some of the coral structures could date back millions of years, but so too could some of the creatures living there. The alien-like nautilus is a distant cousin to the squid, but what makes this creature unique is that it appears to have remained relatively unchanged over the last 500 million years. Number 7. Antarctica. Antarctica, the southernmost continent in sight of the South Pole, is a virtual, uninhabited, ice-covered landmass. Most cruises to the continent visit the Antarctic Peninsula, which stretches towards South America. It's known for the Lemaire Channel and Paradise Harbor, striking iceberg flank passageways, and Port Lockroy, a former British research station turned museum. The peninsula's isolated terrain also shelters rich wildlife, including many penguins. Fun fact, there's a subglacial lake that flows blood red. In 1911, on a remote glacier in East Antarctica, a strange phenomenon was observed. The lily-white ice of the Taylor Glacier was being stained a deep red by water flowing from deep within the glacier. For many years, the source of the red color remained a mystery, but in 2017, scientists announced that they had discovered the cause. The water flowing from within the glacier was from a subglacial lake high in salts and oxidized iron, and when it came into contact with oxygen, the iron rusted, giving the water its striking red shade and its name bloodfall. Fun fact, fish in Antarctica really have antifreeze. There are several fish in Antarctica that have special antifreeze proteins in their blood to stop them from freezing in the polar ocean. While fresh water freezes at 0 Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, salt water can drop to negative 1.8 Celsius, which is 28.75 Fahrenheit, before freezing. Antifreeze proteins help Antarctic fish in sub-zero temperatures to lower their freezing temperatures so they can survive in these freezing waters. Number 6. Mount Bromo. Gunung Bromo is a small but active volcanic cinder cone on the Indonesian island of Java. Bromo is located in the center of the Sand Sea caldera, itself only a portion of the largest. A caldera is the circular depression in the center of a volcano's summit. The Sand Sea caldera formed around 8,000 years ago. It was in what must have been a massive eruption. Subsequent volcanic activity formed the cluster of cinder cones in the caldera's center, including Bromo. The historical record indicates eruptions of Bromo every few years since 1804, and geologic evidence indicates eruptions at least several hundred years earlier. The most recent eruption occurred in 2016 and tragically killed 2 tourists. Fun fact, the people here appease the gods once a year during the annual Kasada festival, where offerings of vegetables, chickens, and money are thrown into the crater of the 5 Victorian falls. On the border between Zimbabwe and Zambia is one of the 7 wonders of the world and classified as a World Heritage Site. It is on the bucket list of many people all around the globe and draws hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. In full flow, it is the biggest single curtain of falling water in the world at 1,708 meters long. The water plunges 100 meters in places into a deep and winding gorge full of turbulent rapids and whirlpools. It is one of the world's most spectacular waterfalls, and it really is quite a sight to behold. What is more is that it is situated in the very hub of numerous world-class game parks, so combining a visit to this remarkable waterfall with a safari makes for the most memorable of holidays. Fun fact, you can see the falls from 2 countries. 75% of the falls can be seen from the Zimbabwean side, while the remaining 25% is visible from the Zambian side. While Zimbabwe has had negative media attention in recent years, locals assure visitors that it is incredibly safe and typically makes for a more superior viewing experience. Fun fact, it rains at Victoria Falls Rainforest all day. On the Zimbabwe side of the falls, you will find the Victoria Falls Rainforest, which is the only place on earth to see rain every single day of the year. The rain blessed the area with lush greenery in the forest, and it's recommended that visitors explore it as well. Number 4, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is considered one of the finest examples of arid land erosion in the world. Incised by the Colorado River, the canyon is immense, averaging 4,000 feet deep for its entire 277 miles. It is 6,000 feet deep and at its deepest point, and 18 miles at its widest. However, the significance of Grand Canyon is not limited to its geology. The park contains several major ecosystems. Its great biological diversity can be attributed to the presence of 5 of the 7 life zones and 3 of the 4 desert types in North America. The 5 life zones represented are the Lower Sonoran, Upper Sonoran, Transition, Canadian, and Hudsonian. This is equivalent to traveling from Mexico to Canada. The park also serves as an ecological refugee with relatively undisturbed remnants of dwindling ecosystems such as boreal forests and desert riparian communities. It is home to numerous rare, endemic, found only at Grand Canyon, and specially protected, threatened, or endangered plant and animal species. Over 1,500 plants, 355 birds, 89 mammalian, 47 reptile, 9 amphibian, and 17 fish species are found in park. Fun fact, the Grand Canyon is bigger than the state of Rhode Island. The Grand Canyon is a mile deep, 277 miles long, and 18 miles wide. While the park doesn't include the entire canyon, it does measure in at a whopping 1,904 square miles in total. In comparison, Rhode Island is around 1,212 square miles. Fun fact, souvenirs may be bought but not taken. Grand Canyon National Park, a World Heritage Site, belongs to everyone. Rocks, plants, wood, and artifacts must be left where you found them so others can enjoy them in the free. Halong Bay, as known as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is famous because its stunning limestone mountains raising up from emerald waters that formed from thousands years ago. You also can have a chance to explore amazing caves as well as the culture of Halong. Fun fact, dragon legends in the local language. Halong Bay means the bay where dragons landed. So as the legend goes, once upon a time, Vietnam was under attack by invaders and ships. In order to help Vietnam protect itself, the gods or the emperor sent dragons to help the people. These dragons dropped jewels into the ocean, which turned into the Halong Bay Islands and created a barrier, preventing the invaders from reaching the shore and thus protecting Vietnam. Interestingly, these dragons are believed to have decided to remain on Earth and not return to heaven, and are said to still reside underwater at Halong Bay. Fun fact, the hospital cave in Halong Bay was used as a secret hospital during the Vietnam War. During the war between America and Vietnam, some of the Vietnamese leaders used a large cave in Halong to serve as a safe house, shelter, and a bomb-proof hospital for injured people and soldiers. This cave had over 17 rooms and was in use until 1975, and today it is open to Number 2, Amazon Rainforest. The Amazon Rainforest is a wondrous and beautiful place full full of mighty rivers and lush green trees. But beneath its glossy green exterior, it's working hard to provide the world with countless benefits. Without the Amazon, the entire world's climate would be thrown off. The atmosphere would be polluted with billions of tons. 10% of the world's biodiversity would be lost, and we may never find cures for many modern-day diseases. Yes, the Amazon is an extremely important asset to the planet. Fun fact, lungs of the earth, the Amazon rainforest doesn't produce more than 20% of the world's oxygen. Fun fact, while many of the animals within the Amazon are gentle and friendly, there are definitely a few that you would want to keep your distance from, such as venomous snakes, poisonous frogs, jaguars, and flesh-eating piranhas. 1. Serengeti Migration. The Great Serengeti Wild Beast Migration is the movement of vast numbers of the Serengeti's wild beasts, accompanied by large numbers of zebra and smaller numbers of Grand gazelle, eland, and impala. These move in an annual pattern, which is fairly predictable. They migrate throughout the year, constantly seeking fresh grazing and, it's now thought, better quality water. The precise timing of the Serengeti wild beast migration is entirely dependent upon the rainfall patterns each year. The short rain begins around early November. A little after this, in late November and December, the herds of the wild beast migration arrive on the short grass plain of the Serengeti. These are south and east of Seronera and around Dutu, and include the north of the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. Dispersed across these plains, wild beasts and zebra are everywhere, feeding on the fresh, nutritious grasses. They stay here through January, February, and March, which most wild beast cows born in a short window around February. Gradually, they spread west across these plains. Then around April, they start their great migration north. By May, the Serengeti's wild beasts all seem to be moving north, migrating to seek fresh grazing and water. The area around Morocarpiches and west of Seronera is then hectic with a series of moving columns, often containing hundreds of thousands of animals, joined by many zebra and a scattering of Thomas and Grant's gazelles. Some of the migration then head due north of Seronera, but most are usually further west. Around June, the wild beast migration is often halted on the south side of Grumeti River, which has some channels which block or slow their migration north. The wild beasts then congregate there in the western corridor, often building up to a high density before crossing the river. The river here is normally a series of pools and channels, but it's not continuous. And so, whilst they always represent an annual feast for the Grumeti River's large crocodile, these aren't usually quite as spectacular as the crossings of the Mera River further north. The wild beast migration continues moving northwards during, often spreading out across a broad front, some heading through Grumeti Reserve and Ikarando, others north through the heart of the Serengeti National Park. September sees the herd spread out across the northern Serengeti, where the Mera River provides the migration with its most serious obstacle. This river gushes through the northern Serengeti from Kenya's adjacent Masai Mara Game Reserve. Watching the frantic herds of the wild beast migration crossing the Mara River can be very spectacular. There are often scenes of great panic and confusion. It's common to see herds across the Mara River north on one day and then back south a few days later. By October, the wild beast herds are migrating again with more accord north. All are heading south through western Loliondo and the Serengeti National Park Lobo area, returning to the green shoots which follow the rains on the short grass plains of the southern Serengeti in November. Then the whole Serengeti wild beast migration starts again. Fun fact, it is estimated that at least 250,000 wild beasts die annually on migration. The main causes of death for the animals are usually starvation, drought, or predation. Although these are huge losses, they are sustainable thanks to the high numbers of animals that survive the journey, and the deaths feed the rest of the food chain, supporting the entire ecosystem. Fun fact, elephants are native to the Serengeti, but when the national park was founded, there weren't any. It is presumed they were all poached in the 1800s, but in the mid-1900s, elephants started moving back into the park. Populations have fluctuated due to environmental conditions and poaching, but today there is thought to be a healthy population of more than 7,000 elephants across the entire Serengeti ecosystem. This is an increase from around 6,000 in 2014. You've enjoyed learning about the top 10 best places to visit and their fun fact. Then don't forget to subscribe on your way out and comment down below which place would you like to visit. Enjoy!